Alaska, life at the edge of the wilderness, a travel documentary. Most people live on a planet. Alaska lives on a different one. This is a place where the numbers don't make sense, where temperatures plunge so far below zero that exposed skin freezes in minutes, where darkness lasts for months, where daylight never ends for months, where bears outnumber humans by hundreds of thousands to one. Alaska is 32% larger than Texas. It's more remote than most nations. It's home to 11 of the tallest mountains in North America. It holds more than half of all the glaciers in the continental United States. And it's still almost completely wild. This is your complete journey through Alaska's most extreme locations. From the tallest peak on the continent to the frozen Arctic coast where polar bears walk through town. From rainforests that receive 90 inches of rain per year to the coldest temperatures ever recorded in North America. Welcome to the last frontier. Denali National Park, the highest peak on the continent, 20,310 feet above sea level. That's how tall Denali stands, the highest mountain in North America. The peak itself was named Denali in 1975, but native Athabascans had called it Denali, meaning the Great One, for centuries. It was previously called Mount McKinley, a name that lasted nearly 100 years before being officially changed back. What makes it extreme, Denali isn't just tall. It rises from a relatively low base elevation. The mountain gains roughly 20,000 feet in horizontal distance, making the perceived slope steeper than Everest in many sections. The temperature at the summit averages -40 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. In winter, that can plunge to -70. The wind regularly exceeds 100 miles per hour at the peak. Altitude sickness kills climbers here regularly. The thin air doesn't allow human lungs to absorb enough oxygen. The Kahiltna Glacier is the primary route used by most summit attempts. It's a massive river of ice stretching 44 miles long. Climbers must navigate massive crevasses, cracks in the ice that can be hundreds of feet deep. A single misstep means falling into a crevasse and likely dying, either from the fall itself or from hypothermia in the darkness below. wildlife, the park contains roughly 300 to 350 grizzly bears. These aren't small bears. Adult grizzly males in Alaska average 600 to 900 pounds. Females average 300 to 400 pounds. There are nearly 1,700 moose in the park. Statistically, you're more likely to be injured by a defensive mother moose protecting her calf than by a grizzly bear. A 3/4-ton animal charging at 35 miles per hour will kill you more efficiently than any predator. 105 wolves roam the park across 14 separate packs. They hunt moose and caribou in coordinated hunts that would make any predator look primitive. Human population. 0 permanent residents live inside the park core. The town of Denali, at the park entrance, has roughly 150 winter residents. In summer, that swells to a few thousand tourists. Unique dangers: high-altitude pulmonary edema, a condition where fluid fills your lungs at extreme altitude, causing you to essentially drown while your body is still breathing air. It can kill you in hours. Crevasse falls, avalanches, exposure to wind that can blow climbers directly off the mountain, and the bears. Climbers have encountered grizzlies on the glacier itself. At 20,000 feet, in the middle of nowhere, with a half-ton predator deciding whether you're food. The receipt? Competitors talk about how tall Denali is. They show pretty pictures of the summit. What they don't mention is that roughly 1 in every 4 people who attempt to summit Denali fail to reach the peak. And they're not failing because they're weak. They're failing because the mountain is actively trying to kill them. Utkavik. The northernmost city in America, Utkavik, was previously known as Barrow. That name was changed in 2016 back to its original Inupiat name, which means place where snowy owls are hunted. This city is located on the Arctic coast, at the very edge of the continent. It sits 1,300 miles away from the geographic North Pole, not the town called North Pole, Alaska, which exists down near Fairbanks, but the actual North Pole, the top of the planet. Population and climate. Approximately 4,500 people live here, primarily Yupiat Inuit. They are the northernmost permanent city in the United States, occupying territory that's been home to Arctic peoples for thousands of years. The temperature here in winter regularly drops to -20 to -50 Fahrenheit, but the wind chill makes it feel far worse. A 15-mile-per-hour wind at -30 Fahrenheit creates a wind chill equivalent to -60 Fahrenheit. The darkness and the light. From late November through late January, Utqiagvik experiences 65 consecutive days of complete, total darkness. The sun doesn't rise at all. It doesn't peak over the horizon. The entire sky remains in perpetual twilight or complete black. Then, from May through August, the reverse happens. The city experiences 82 days of uninterrupted 24-hour daylight. The sun circles the horizon, but never sets. At 3 in the morning, the sky is bright enough to read a book without any artificial light. This isn't metaphorical darkness and light. Children are born in darkness and wake up to daylight. Businesses operate on completely different schedules during different seasons. The polar bears. This is where polar bears become a legitimate city planning problem. Utqiagvik sits on the frozen Arctic Ocean in winter. Polar bears use the frozen marine corridors to travel and hunt. They walk through the town borders searching for food. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game officially advises residents never to venture past the edge of town toward the coast without a firearm. Polar bears actively hunt humans here. People have been killed. Many more have been chased. There are approximately 4,000 polar bears in the entire territory of Alaska, with most concentrated in the northern regions near Utqiagvik. These aren't creatures that fear humans. They're apex predators evaluating whether you're food. Whaling and survival. The Inupiat maintain a traditional whaling season. Using skin-covered boats called umiaks, they hunt bowhead whales from the ice edge in spring. These aren't trophy hunts, they're survival. a single whale can feed an entire village through the winter. The distribution of whale meat is a critical part of the economy and food security. When a whale is successfully harvested, families receive portions that can keep them fed for months. The receipt, competitors describe Utqiagvik as the coldest city in America. But that's boring, and it's also not technically true. There are colder places. What competitors don't understand is that this city represents human settlement in a place that actively doesn't want humans to exist. People live here because their ancestors lived here. They developed hunting techniques over thousands of years that work in extreme Arctic conditions. They built culture, tradition, and ways of survival that make the extreme livable. Moving to Utqiagvik isn't an adventure. It's a commitment to existing in the harshest regularly inhabited location in America. Juneau, the capital in the rainforest Juneau, is surrounded by mountains rising 3,500 feet straight up from sea level. The city is built in a valley between these peaks, accessible only by boat or plane. There are no roads connecting Juneau to anywhere else in Alaska. The settlement story, gold brought people here. In 1880, two prospectors named Joe Juneau and Richard Harris discovered gold in Gold Creek. They didn't discover it alone. They found it with the direct help of Chief Coe, a Tlingit leader who showed them where the gold was. The town that formed was originally called Harrisburg, then Rockwell, then Juneau. The Tlingit people had occupied this land for thousands of years before gold was discovered. Rainfall reality, every travel guide says Juneau is incredibly rainy. The actual data is more specific and more interesting. The Juneau airport receives roughly 54 inches of rain annually. That's substantial, but not extreme. However, downtown Juneau, just a few miles away in the valley, receives over 90 inches per year. Some areas of the region receive more than 200 inches annually. This isn't an exaggeration. The weather in Juneau is dominated by microclimates. Rain comes from the ocean constantly. Clouds get trapped in the valleys. Mountains redirect weather patterns. What competitors don't mention is that this constant rain creates the temperate rainforest ecosystem that makes the Inside Passage unique. The moisture creates lush vegetation, massive trees, and an ecosystem found almost nowhere else on the continent. The Inside Passage is a marine route through Alaska's southeast panhandle. It's one of the most scenic waterways on Earth. Hundreds of islands, thousands of glaciers, rainforests that seem untouched by time. Most visitors reach Juneau by cruise ship. The ships dock in the harbor, tourists spend the day, then the ship leaves. But Juneau is a functioning city of roughly 30,000 people. It's the capital of Alaska, yet has no road access to the rest of the state. Wildlife, black bears roam the forests around Juneau. Brown bears fish for salmon at the river mouths when the salmon run. Sea otters inhabit the marine areas. Bald eagles are so common that locals don't even look up when they see them. The salmon runs are critical to both the ecosystem and the economy. Sockeye, king, coho, chum, and pink salmon return to Alaska's rivers every year. The abundance of salmon attracts bears, eagles, otters, and supports entire native economies. The receipt, Juneau is presented as a quaint rainforest capital. It is. But what competitors don't mention is that getting here and leaving is an accomplishment itself. You can't drive here. You can't just leave if you want to. The geographic isolation makes this one of the most remote state capitals in the country. Glacier Bay National Park, the rapid retreat 250 years ago. An ice sheet filled Glacier Bay completely. The entire bay was frozen solid under a glacier estimated to be 3,000 feet thick. Today, glaciers cover approximately 27% of the park. That's a staggering change in a relatively short geological time frame. Glacial numbers, the park contains over 1,045 separate glaciers. Most are small. Some are massive tidewater glaciers that flow directly into the ocean. Marjorie Glacier is 1 mile wide and rises approximately 250 feet above the waterline. Johns Hopkins Glacier moves at rates up to 15 feet per day, making it one of the fastest moving glaciers in the world. Ice calving. When a glacier reaches the ocean, the pressure of the water against the glacier eventually causes massive sections to fracture and collapse into the sea. This is called calving. When a large calving event occurs, multi-ton blocks of ancient ice crash into the water with explosive force. A single block can be the size of a building. This creates an immediate problem: iceberg-induced tsunamis. The sudden displacement of massive ice creates localized waves that can reach 30 feet high. These waves can capsize kayaks and smaller vessels instantly. Park rangers issue tsunami warnings when large calving events occur. Boats are advised to move away from the calving front immediately. The ecosystem. Humpback whales migrate into Glacier Bay seasonally to feed. The cold water creates nutrient-rich conditions that attract massive populations of fish and other marine life. Whales return here annually, creating one of the most predictable whale populations in Alaska. Bears fish for salmon and hunt marine mammals. Black bears are more common in the forested areas. Brown bears are occasionally spotted, but are less common than in other parts of Alaska. Sea otters, which were nearly extinct due to fur hunting, have recovered significantly in recent decades. They inhabit the kelp forests and help maintain the ecological balance by hunting sea urchins. Human access. Getting to Glacier Bay requires significant effort. You can fly or take a boat from Juneau. Most tourists visit via cruise ship or chartered boats. Kayakers come here in summer to experience the glaciers up close. The combination of pristine wilderness, wildlife viewing, and constantly changing glacial landscape makes it one of Alaska's most popular destinations. The receipt: competitors show glaciers and whales and call it beautiful. It is. What they don't explain is that you're watching a geological process in real time. The retreat of the glaciers is measurable year to year. The ecosystem is in rapid transition due to climate change. The whales you see might not return in 50 years if the prey species collapse. Barrow to Nome, the gold rush legacy of the 1896 Klondike Gold Rush is famous worldwide. Most people think it happened in Alaska. It didn't. The rush happened in Canada's Yukon Territory. But the gateway routes were entirely in Alaska. Prospectors sailed to Skagway, Alaska, climbed the Chilkoot Trail, and then proceeded into Canada to search for gold. Nome, Alaska, experienced its own gold rush starting in 1898. Gold was discovered in the beaches and surrounding areas. Within a year, tens of thousands of prospectors flooded into Nome. The modern gold rush, today, Nome remains a working port town on Alaska's west coast. Population roughly 3,700 people. The town exists because of gold and fishing. Getting to Nome requires a flight or a boat journey lasting days. There are no roads connecting it to anywhere. The nearest major city is Anchorage, 600 miles away by air. In winter, the Bering Sea freezes. The temperature drops to -30 to -50. The wind from Siberia, just 55 miles away across the frozen ocean, brings Arctic conditions that are nearly unlivable. Yet people choose to live here for the same reason they did a century ago. Resources and isolation create economic opportunity. The Arctic Ocean climate, the Bering Sea is one of the deadliest waters in the world. The temperature ranges from near freezing year-round. Storms develop rapidly. Visibility disappears instantly. Commercial fishing boats work these waters. The danger is extreme. Crew members regularly die in sinkings, falls overboard, and hypothermia. The Deadliest Catch television series documents this exact industry in these exact waters. The receipt Competitors talk about the gold rush as a historical event. They show old pictures of prospectors. They don't explain that the harsh conditions that made gold discovery difficult still exist today. Modern technology has made survival easier, but Nome is still one of the harshest inhabited places in North America. Anchorage. The modern frontier city Anchorage is Alaska's largest city, with a population of roughly 290,000 people. It's the economic and cultural center of the state. The city was founded in 1914 as a construction camp for the Alaska Railroad. It grew rapidly and became the primary hub for transportation, commerce, and government in Alaska. The urban wildlife overlap. This is where the wilderness and civilization collide directly. Moose regularly walk through residential neighborhoods. They break into backyards. They've been found swimming in pools. A confrontation with a moose in Anchorage isn't rare. It happens regularly. Black bears have been sighted walking through downtown Anchorage. Bears have been found in people's homes searching for food. The city has implemented multiple strategies to manage the bear population, including hiring bear monitors and aversive conditioning programs. The Anchorage moose population is estimated at roughly 1,000 animals within the city limits. Bears are less numerous but present year-round. The extreme environment. In winter, the temperature regularly drops to -20 Fahrenheit. Darkness dominates from November through January. The number of daylight hours is minimal. In summer, the opposite is true. Daylight extends to nearly 22 hours. The sun dips below the horizon but never fully sets. This extreme variation in daylight affects circadian rhythms, mood, and behavior. Alaska has higher suicide rates than the national average, with seasonal affective disorder being a significant factor. The economic shift. Anchorage's economy was built on fishing, oil, and military spending. The oil industry remains significant, but has declined due to global market forces. Modern Anchorage is diversifying. Technology companies are relocating there. Tourism is growing. The city is attempting to balance its frontier heritage with modern development. The receipt: Anchorage is presented as a normal city that happens to be in Alaska. In many ways, it functions like any other American city. But the presence of moose wandering through neighborhoods and bears breaking into homes reminds residents constantly that they live on the edge of wilderness. Kenai Peninsula. The salmon capital, the Kenai Peninsula, extends south from Anchorage into the Gulf of Alaska. It's home to some of the most productive salmon rivers in the world. The Kenai River is famous for its king salmon runs. These fish can exceed 50 pounds. Anglers come from around the world to fish these waters. The salmon migration. 5 species of salmon return to Alaska's rivers annually: sockeye, king, coho, chum, and pink salmon. Each species has a specific migration timing and river preference. The salmon travel thousands of miles from the ocean back to the river where they were born. They navigate by magnetic fields and chemical scent markers. They return to the exact stream, sometimes to within feet of where they were spawned. When they arrive, they stop eating. They live entirely off stored body energy for weeks or months, fighting upstream against currents and jumping waterfalls until they reach spawning grounds. Many don't survive the journey. Those that do spawn once and then die. The bear fishing. When the salmon run peaks, bears congregate at the rivers. A single waterfall might have 20 to 30 bears standing side by side, plucking salmon from the air as they jump. This is where bears get most of their annual caloric intake. A bear can catch dozens of salmon per day during peak runs. In a few months, they consume enough energy to sustain themselves through winter hibernation. The commercial fishery. Commercial fishing boats work these waters constantly during salmon season. Drift nets and set nets catch thousands of tons of salmon annually. This represents one of Alaska's most important industries. The value of the salmon catch reaches hundreds of millions of dollars annually. The receipt. Salmon runs are presented as a scenic natural event. And they are. But they're also the economic foundation of much of Alaska's fishing industry and the survival mechanism for the entire bear population. Fairbanks. The interior city Fairbanks is located in interior Alaska, far from any ocean. Population roughly 32,000 people. It's the second largest city in the state. The city was founded in 1901 during a gold rush. It remains a hub for mining, military activity, and research. The extreme cold, interior Alaska is significantly colder than coastal regions. Fairbanks regularly experiences temperatures of -40 to -50 Fahrenheit in winter. The all-time coldest temperature in Alaska was recorded not in Fairbanks, but at Prospect Creek Camp on the Dalton Highway on January 23, 1971. The temperature dropped to 80 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. On that exact same day, the high temperature at Prospect Creek was -64 degrees. The temperature range was a total of 16 degrees across the entire day. The permafrost problem. Much of interior Alaska sits on permafrost, ground that remains frozen year-round. As global temperatures rise, permafrost is thawing. This creates engineering problems. Buildings sink into the ground as the supporting permafrost melts. Roads buckle and crack. Infrastructure becomes unstable. Scientists study permafrost extensively at Fairbanks, where research facilities investigate the effects of thaw and potential solutions. The Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights, is a natural light show caused by solar wind interacting with the Earth's magnetic field. In Fairbanks, this is visible regularly during winter months. The green, purple, and red lights dance across the sky in patterns that seem almost alive. Tourists come to Fairbanks specifically to witness the aurora. The receipt. Fairbanks is often portrayed as a frontier town surrounded by extreme conditions. That's accurate, but it's also a functioning city with universities, hospitals, and infrastructure. The extreme conditions are simply background noise to daily life. The Dalton Highway. The road to nowhere, the Dalton Highway, stretches 414 miles from Fairbanks north to Prudhoe Bay on the Arctic Ocean. For most of its length, it's gravel. The road exists primarily to service oil industry operations and the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. The conditions. The road is isolated. There are no services for long stretches. Gas stations are separated by 100 to 200 miles. If your vehicle breaks down in winter, rescue could take days. The temperature regularly drops to -40 degrees. The road itself freezes and becomes extremely slippery. Visibility can disappear instantly in snowstorms. The road hazards. The road crosses permafrost. As the ground thaws and refreezes, the road surface buckles. Sections that were smooth yesterday can have foot-deep ruts today. Wildlife frequently uses the road. Moose, bears, and caribou cross it constantly. Collisions with large animals can be fatal. The wildlife. The road passes through the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge and the gates of the Arctic National Park. The land to either side is completely wild. Grizzly bears roam these areas. Wolves hunt caribou. Musk oxen migrate across the tundra. This is one of the most pristine wilderness areas in North America. The receipt. The Dalton Highway is presented as an extreme adventure drive. Hundreds of tourists attempt it annually. Most make it. Some break down and need rescue. What competitors don't mention is that this road exists because of the oil industry. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline, which runs alongside the road, was built in the 1970s to transport oil from Prudhoe Bay to Valdez. The pipeline itself is a massive engineering achievement, carrying warm oil across hundreds of miles of permafrost. Prince William Sound, the oil spill legacy. On March 24, 1989, the tanker Exxon Valdez hit Bligh Reef in Prince William Sound. 11 million gallons of crude oil spilled into the water. It remains the worst environmental disaster in Alaska's history. The cleanup efforts lasted years and cost billions of dollars. Thousands of workers attempted to clean up the oil. Despite the effort, significant amounts of oil remained in the environment for decades. Wildlife was devastated. Seabirds, sea otters, fish, and marine mammals died in massive numbers. Entire populations were decimated. Some have recovered, others have not. The modern recovery, 35 years after the spill. Prince William Sound has recovered significantly. The wildlife populations have largely returned. The fishing industry remains viable. But reminders of the spill remain. If you dig in certain beaches, you can still find pockets of crude oil buried in the sand. The environmental damage was severe enough to leave lasting evidence. The economic impact. The spill devastated Alaska's fishing economy. Fisheries were closed. Livelihoods were destroyed. The legal cases continued for years. The spill also created environmental awareness. It demonstrated the risks of large-scale oil extraction in pristine environments. The receipt, the Exxon Valdez spill, is presented as a historical event. And it is. But it shaped Alaska's relationship with resource extraction and environmental protection permanently. Southeast Alaska. The rainforest wilderness Southeast Alaska is a temperate rainforest ecosystem unique in North America. It stretches from Ketchikan in the south to Prince William Sound in the north. The rainforest receives massive amounts of rainfall. Some areas receive over 200 inches annually. The vegetation grows so densely that walking through old-growth forest is extremely difficult. The old-growth forest, the trees in Southeast Alaska, are ancient. Sitka spruce, western hemlock, and cedar trees reach heights of 150 feet. Some are hundreds of years old. These forests are home to multiple species found almost nowhere else. The habitat is pristine and largely protected. The wildlife, bears, deer, moose, and wolves inhabit these forests. Marine mammals, whales, sea otters, seals inhabit the surrounding waters. The salmon runs are critical to the ecosystem. Bears depend on salmon. Eagles depend on salmon. Entire food webs are built around the annual salmon migration. The native peoples, the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian peoples have occupied Southeast Alaska for thousands of years. They developed sophisticated societies based on fishing, hunting, and trading.